ahead and get started. This is part 4 of our Just for Masters series, and Kim Brown is here to talk about using LinkedIn and Twitter for career purposes, one of her many specialties. So please join me in welcoming Kim.
Awesome, thank you. Hi guys, I know I've seen a few familiar faces here. I am Kim. I graduated from Syracuse University in 2006, which makes me a little old now. That's okay. My majors were broadcast journalism and political science. My whole goal in life was to be Katie Couric, who is was an anchor on the popular Today Show on NBC News. And I thought that was all I wanted to do, so I came here for that. And decided after working as a reporter that I absolutely didn't want to do that with my life. And so I went to a networking event and I talked to a lot of people, and I found out that the job that I am in now was opened, that the woman had just given her 2 weeks notice to say that she was leaving. And I said, I want that job. And so here I am 3 years later in the position. So I'm in career services. My main role is working with alumni to connect alumni back to our students, to hire you for internships, for jobs, to come back and speak on campus, to do video profiles where they give you advice. But my side role in the office is to really teach how to responsibly use LinkedIn, Twitter, other social media sites for finding jobs. I love LinkedIn. Those of you who've worked with me have seen that I get super passionate about it. So my goal today is for you to leave this room feeling like absolute LinkedIn rock stars. You can impress all your friends at the bars you go to tonight, or bars or parties or whatever it might be, because you have so much LinkedIn knowledge. So that's my goal. And then we'll also talk about Twitter as well. Just so I know, how many of you are currently using LinkedIn? You have a profile, you're on LinkedIn. Okay. How many of you are currently using Twitter? Way fewer hands go up. Okay, awesome. So we'll start with LinkedIn because I think that one is really the one you want to focus on when it comes to your job search, and then I'll also do a little bit of Twitter as well. LinkedIn, I'll start with some of the basics. I'll start with things you need to have on your profile if you want a hiring manager or a recruiter or someone within your dream company to find you. But then I'm going to get into the real nitty-gritty of the site. How to use it, what's hiding under all those tabs, and how you can make it effective for you and what you're looking to do for your career. So we'll start. What I am now on is the home page on LinkedIn. I'll come back to this from time to time. This is like your home base. So you're going to see some news that's kind of customized for you based on the information that's in your profile. That's the home, so you're going to get to that from obviously your home tab. When you go over to your profile, that's where we're going to start today. So here's LinkedIn. Here is the obnoxious blue box that pops up every time you try and make an edit to your profile. It drives me berserk. So what I do is go to my profile, and I get a lot of pleasure out of just going, go away. And I make the blue box go away. And I do all of my editing without paying attention to that blue box. So here I am. I'm in my edit profile mode. I have a picture that's reflective of me as a professional. I have a headline that's not just, well, I would never put this because it's not true anymore, student at Syracuse University. I see so many headlines, and that's what they say. And it's not descriptive. You can do so much more than that. Tell me what you're studying. Tell me what you're aspiring to be. So if I wanted to be Katie Couric back 6 years ago, I would have said, 10 years ago, I would have said aspiring broadcast journalist and NBC News reporter at Syracuse University. Or if you're not quite sure exactly what you want to do yet, then just put studying chemistry at Syracuse University. And that is totally fair game. Just try and stay away from student at Syracuse University. So you've got your picture, you've got your headline, and this is really important. This is your link. This is the URL, the link, that will take people to your LinkedIn profile. This is going to go on your business card, if there's room, or your networking card, if you don't currently have a job and you're just using it for networking. It's going to go on your email signature. It's also going to go on your resume up near all of the contact information. So where you have your name, your phone number, your email address, you put your LinkedIn URL as well. But here's the catch. If you haven't updated this, what LinkedIn assigns you to is flat out ugly. It looks disgusting, and you don't want to show it to the world. And I'll pick on somebody and show. Usually I just pick a random person up here in the corner, and I can almost always, yep, Marie is good. So Marie, sure, she's amazing. She went to Syracuse, she must be. But here is the link that Marie has been assigned to by LinkedIn. It's long, it has tons of numbers and letters in it. It's not something that you're going to easily be able to put on to a resume, to a business letter, or to a cover letter, or onto your email signature. So all you do is when you're in your edit profile mode, you click edit, and then there's your link, and you click edit again right next to your link, and then you click down to customize your public profile URL. And that's what allows you to get that nice looking URL, your first name and your last name. All lowercase, no spaces, no dashes, no periods. If you're like me and you have a super common name like Kim Brown, my dad is John Brown, I'm Kim Brown, doesn't get much more common than that. I had to go with Kim Brown 1. You can try doing Kim middle initial Brown. My middle initial is M, and I didn't want people to think I couldn't spell my name correctly, so I went with Kim Brown 1, but that's up to you, okay? So just get it short, take out all those numbers and letters. And not only is this aesthetically pleasing, which means it looks a lot nicer, it also means that if somebody goes into Google and types in your name because they're interested in hiring you for a job, this is going to make your LinkedIn profile show up in the top 5 of those search results. And that's good. That's positive, professional content about you, and that's what you want. All right? This may be a little too basic for some of you who you've been using LinkedIn a lot, but I promise I'm going to go very high level. I just want to make sure that everybody's caught up and is, has the appropriate sections of their profile filled out. Another huge mistake I see from students and alumni is that this summary section is blank. They just don't fill it out. Yeah, just leave it blank. They'll figure out who I am. Wrong. So your summary section is the most searchable part of your LinkedIn profile. Meaning if you want to be found because you're studying public relations, or you want to be found because you're a mechanical engineering major, or civil engineering, or you've done chemistry, you need to put the keywords that you think of when you think of yourself as a professional and what you're good at and what you studied and where you're going. That needs to be in your summary section. So you can say that you did your undergraduate work in so-and-so, you've now come to Syracuse University to pursue your degree in such and such. Some of your highlights include, it's short, it's almost like a little snippet of a cover letter. That's what you're putting into your summary section. Quite frankly, mine is long. I bet people stop reading after the first sentence, maybe the first 3. So this stuff, maybe they don't read it. Hopefully they do. They probably don't. So try and keep it to maybe 1 paragraph, and you'll be in good shape. The other thing about the summary, and LinkedIn in general now, it allows you to make it pretty, to add videos, to add images, to add documents, PowerPoint presentations. So if you spent 6 months working on this rock star SlideShare presentation and you got to show it once in class and you're like, man, I worked so hard on that. Now LinkedIn allows you to put that link, put that presentation, put your portfolio onto your LinkedIn profile. Imagine if you created a YouTube video introducing yourself to potential employers. Hi, I'm Kim Brown. Thanks for visiting my profile. I'm really interested in working for a company that does, I'm making this up as I go along, but a quick little video introduction to you, and you put it onto your LinkedIn profile, that can really set you apart. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying think outside the box. You have this ability now. Why not try and use it? Now, I'm down to the experience section of the profile. This is as easy as taking what you have on your resume for your work experience, copying what's on your resume, and pasting it into your LinkedIn profile. This is your work experience, internships and jobs. So again, you have the ability here, this little box will allow you to add those visuals. What you want to try and do is make sure that the company you put, in my case it's Syracuse University, is the company recognized by LinkedIn, meaning a logo will pop up because LinkedIn recognizes it. Now, not all companies are recognized by LinkedIn yet, so if the logo's not popping up, don't worry about it. But the point of my story is if currently you're working in food services at Syracuse University, you want to say concessions worker, comma, food services, Syracuse University. Because Syracuse University Food Services is not a recognized company on LinkedIn. Does that make sense? So in the way you phrase what your company is, try to get it so it's the way LinkedIn recognizes it. Any questions on that? Okay. So what you also see under my work experience, I have these little faces. See them? Little faces. Adam Britton, who's a graduate of the university. Dan Clam, who also graduated from the university and used to work with me. So they have written recommendations of my work. They have said what it's like to work with Kim Brown and why they might recommend me to another company. You can get recommendations on your profile from your first degree connections. What do I mean by that? Magnolia and I are connected. We're first degree connections. It's like if she was my Facebook friend or if she was following me on Twitter, she's my connection. But if Magnolia is connected to Christina and I'm not, Christina is my second degree connection. So she's not my direct one, but through Magnolia, I'm tied to Christina. And then if Christina is connected to Elena, but I'm not connected to Christina or Elena, you guys are like, oh my God, stop. Elena is my third degree connection, and then it stops, thankfully. So it goes up through third degree connections, and then it will stop. So from first degree connections, you can request recommendations. And the way you do that is you scroll to the bottom of your profile to where it says recommendations, and you click the pencil, and you will be able to fill out a form to ask for a recommendation. When you ask for a recommendation, don't send the generic form that LinkedIn comes up with, which is something like, will you endorse me? It's like super lame. I'll even show you because it's that lame. Hold on. I'm going to say, ask to be recommended, and I'm going to say, for my job as assistant director, and I'm going to ask Magnolia just as an example. I hope we're connected, Magnolia. I don't know.
Oh, you have to do J dot.
Is it J dot? Okay. There you are. Now, here's the crap. Oh, they actually changed it since I last went in there. It used to say, can you endorse me, which was just dumb. So, can you recommend me? And then it gives you this form. I'm sending this to ask you for a brief recommendation of my work that I can include in my LinkedIn profile. If you have any questions, let me know. No. You can work with this, but you want to make it specific. So if you're asking for a recommendation from somebody who supervised you, somebody who worked alongside you, remind them of that amazing project you worked on together and how you might like them to highlight your leadership skills during that project. Don't worry about sounding too cocky or too overconfident, but give them a few little bullet points that you might like them to mention. It'll give you recommendations that are specific and much more useful than Kim is a very hard worker and she would be a super asset to any company. Like lame, anybody could get those. You want ones that have the real specifics. And if you give them that, then they'll be likely to mention those things. Now, other side of the coin, we have one alum who likes to write full recommendations of himself for his potential connections that he's asking. Like he will literally write the recommendation, send it to his old supervisor and say, can you put this up about me? No, don't do that. It's a little much. It's a little like, well, buddy, stop. So put in a few suggestions, but please don't recommend yourself. All right. Now, I'll go back onto the profile. And I'll just show you, I want to highlight, in addition to work experience, I know you guys are incredibly well-rounded, so you have the ability to add in volunteer experiences And many of you are also involved in organizations on campus, so you could add a section to your profile for the organizations you're involved in. Many of you, I'm assuming, are also bilingual. You can add a section to your profile for the languages you speak. That's attractive to employers who might be looking for bilingual candidates. So when I go up to the right-hand side of my edit profile, I can see all this great stuff that I can add. The great thing about a LinkedIn profile is you're not limited to one page. So have at it. Put the stuff on there that you think might make you a better candidate. Now, I can add test scores. Please, if you took the SATs, don't put those on your profile. If you took TOEFL, if you took any of the PSATs, this, that, nobody really cares. Maybe some, but I see so many SAT scores and it's like, who passed that? No need to put SATs or things like that on your profile. I would suggest putting relevant coursework, but don't put IST 195. Nobody outside of Syracuse has a clue what IST 195 is. Give the name of the course and try to stick to 10 courses. If you start writing 50 courses, it's just going to take up a chunk of space on your profile and it's not going to be effective. So pick the 10 that are most relevant to what you want to do for a career. Okay? And that's really it on the profile. I mean, we have the summary section, highly searchable. We have our work experience, the ability to ask for recommendations. You can add whichever different organizations you like. And that does bring me, though, to skills and expertise. All these little faces on here, these are my connections who have endorsed me for my skills that I've listed on my profile. So you can add skills to your profile, things like that you're really good with AutoCAD, or that you know CSS, or C++, or things that I can't even pronounce. So you can do all this type technical work, and you can put those as skills on your profile, and then your connections can say, yeah, she is good at social media. Yeah, he does get AutoCAD, and they can endorse you. And the way you get endorsements is by endorsing others. So it's ideally. So ideally, if you say, yeah, she's good at that, then they'll say, yeah, and she's good at that. They'll, tit for tat kind of thing. So the reason why these matter a little bit, allegedly, according to LinkedIn, is because they're going to count in the search. Meaning, if somebody looks for somebody who does social media in Syracuse and went to Syracuse University, and I'm endorsed a lot for social media, my profile will rise to the top of those search results. That's why they say it matters. I think it's kind of dumb, but it's LinkedIn, so is what it is. I say focus more on specific recommendations than on those endorsements. All right? And then I'll get into groups and some of the other stuff on here as well. Any questions on the profile itself? Because honestly, that was the boring part. Now we get exciting. Go ahead.
What's the difference between endorsement and recommendation?
Recommendation, long, specific. So they actually have to take time to write. Larry is amazing at this. We worked on this project. He was really good. So it'll be a long, right under here where you see the face under me. I can actually view the full recommendation that he wrote out, as opposed to literally just pressing a plus sign and that's an endorsement. That's it. So like I could easily endorse. So I'll go to Elena's profile right now. I scroll down onto her profile to see what skills she has listed, and I'm going to endorse her for career counseling. It's as easy as that. It doesn't take me any time. I don't need to write out any specifics. She's now been endorsed by me for career counseling. And I'm going to leave that because I do endorse her for career counseling. So that's the profile. I've now gone back to my home page. I'm going to take you to the tab that says Network. Couple things about Network. The first thing that matters is the tab that says, or the drop down that says Contacts. So underneath your Network tab, you click on the word Contacts. Maybe you guys know the word Rolodex, or at least what a Rolodex looks like. You flip through it and there's lots of business cards in it. Yeah, Rolodexes, probably not used that much anymore. This becomes your Rolodex. These are all of your connections. These are your business cards. So you go to this site and it will tell you things like who in your network has a new job. I guarantee that your Rolodex doesn't speak and tell you those things, but LinkedIn does. So it'll give you things like who's having a birthday, who's moved to a new city. And so many times I hear from alumni and from students, I've made all these connections, now what? How do I stay in touch with them? Well, if Lauren is one of my key connections, and I see that she has a new job, I'm going to write her an email and say, Lauren, I saw on LinkedIn that you got a new job. Congratulations, that's awesome. You know, things are going well for me too. I'm about to finish my work. Please keep me in mind if you have any openings. Maybe get that in at the end. So that's a really nice way to stay in touch with your network. You also, in this Rolodex, can easily sort by who's working for which companies, who's got what, who's in what location, so you can keep yourself organized. But the best part, I think, about this contacts section is where you go into, oh, apparently they're editing it because I can't reach it. I need to get over there, see.
Hit Control minus.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous, thank you. That's what I wanted. Thank you. I didn't know how to do that. I can do a lot of things with technology, but don't know basics like that. So anyway, there's your contacts. You're going to click on that little circle for settings. And then you're going to see the ability to export LinkedIn connections. And you click on that. And this allows you, this Microsoft CSV file, this is a Excel file. It will give you the first name, last name, job title, and email address in an Excel file of every person you're connected to. So if one day you can't log into LinkedIn, or if one day you were having a huge event and you wanted to invite your network to this event, you can send an email to them by doing this export of connections. Please, though, do not ever, and I've seen alumni do this before, download an Excel file, copy every single email address, and then send your resume to every single person in that contacts list. Not good. That's not how you network. Blanket sending of resumes never, ever, ever, ever works. It just makes you look awful. So don't do that. So this is, though, a nice way to stay organized. It's a nice way to have it saved to your desktop, everybody that you've worked hard to connect with. So that's under network. The other thing under network, and this is so fun, is the Find Alumni tab. This is our Alumni Tool. Now the first thing that pops up for me is where I did my most recent degree, which was a certificate from the iSchool. I'm going to change it to just Syracuse University. If it doesn't pop up for you, type in Syracuse University or type in your undergraduate institution. You can search for alumni there too, we don't mind. So here's Syracuse University. And I'm going to say, I want to see all of the Syracuse University alumni from they're probably dead back then, let's see, we'll do 1970 to 2013. And we'll include people who don't want to tell us when they graduated, so no dates. So I have now found, with 3 clicks, 96,343 Syracuse University students and alumni who are on LinkedIn. Maybe I'll take away the no dates because this might be students as well. So let's go, we'll do 2012 and we'll do no dates. I still have a whopping 80,000 people right in front of me. Now, what can I do with this information? Well, I can say I really want to move to Boston. And when I move to Boston, I really want to work for Oracle. And when I work for Oracle, I really want to be an engineer. And now I have gone from 80,000 alumni down to 8 who are in Boston working at Oracle as engineers. Amazing. This is why I get so excited. So here you can see their names. Now, caveat, LinkedIn is careful about how much information they show you based on how big your network is. So you may not see full names if you have no tie to these people, which is why I suggest that all of you connect with me, because my network will then become your second degree connection network. You'll see more names. But don't send me a connection request right now, and I'll tell you why in a minute. If you already did, it's okay. So here are my 8 students and alumni. This is a nice way to do research. It's a nice way to see who's out there. It is not the best way to talk to these alumni. And I'll show you in a minute what the best way is to talk to them. If I press connect with Paul Riley and ask to be in his network, Paul is going to say, Kim Brown, who? What? I don't know her. You know, the thing I like to say to students is when you connect with an alum who doesn't know you, it's like asking the guy at the bar you met last night to marry you. It's way too fast, right? You gotta build a relationship a little bit. You gotta work on it before you go in for the kill. So, don't ask to connect right off the bat, okay? Just use this as a little bit of a research tool. I will show you how to talk to them. Now, that's under we did contacts, we did find alumni. Jobs, what I like to show you on the jobs tab, yes, you can go into the jobs area and you can do a search for all of the jobs that are posted on LinkedIn. That's certainly very effective if it loads. It just died. Well, it will allow me to type, so we'll just do this one first. I like to go to linkedin.com/studentjobs. This is all of the entry-level internships and jobs that are posted on LinkedIn. Wait for it. What they've done here is they've gone through all of the posts on LinkedIn and they've pulled out the ones that don't require a lot of experience. So you can go through these postings, they load, and you can see the ones that are indeed entry level. I have 0 patience, so I'm just going to keep pressing return until it works. Come on. We're about halfway there. Maybe I'll just exit and start over. Maybe they're doing some back-end development on LinkedIn, or it's our internet.
I think it's our internet. I'm having trouble.
Are you guys having trouble on the internet too? Really? Oh, Syracuse. Okay, we're sort of back. Jobs. Yikes. Sorry guys. Unfortunately, this stuff is out of my control. Okay, so imagine in your heads that this is working. You can see all the jobs that are posted on LinkedIn, and under linkedin.com/studentjobs, you can see the ones that are entry level. It's very effective, nice way to search. You can apply through LinkedIn. Sometimes they'll take you off to the company's website. It depends on the job, but it is a nice way to see what's out there. So that's the jobs tab. Now maybe the interest tab will work a little bit better. We'll see. Nope. Maybe Twitter will work better than LinkedIn. All right, well that's working. So let's get LinkedIn. Just hate to jump over to Twitter in the middle of a presentation because then we'll be all kinds of jarred. I don't really know what to do. I guess we'll just, maybe if I open up another browser.
Firefox,
Looking at Chrome, LinkedIn is just not responding.
Oh, really? You're on Chrome and it's not working? Okay. Maybe it's
I think it's
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Because on my phone, it doesn't
Oh. So apparently they're doing some back-end stuff on LinkedIn. All right, well maybe, wait for it. We got here. All right, so I'm going to go into the companies tab on LinkedIn. Underneath companies, this looks like it's moving, sort of. Oh. It's so fun to do a LinkedIn presentation when LinkedIn doesn't work. All right, so let's move from LinkedIn to Twitter for a second. We'll get, all right. So I clicked on interest, I clicked on companies. I am now going to do a search of all of the companies that are on LinkedIn, and I will be wowed and amazed by the fact that there are 3,235,000 companies that have a profile on LinkedIn. Holy moly, where do you even begin with something that's that large? Well, it's easy. So, what's a dream company for one of you? Where do you want to work? Where? Ernst Young, cool. So I'm going to go, and do you want to be maybe in New York City for Ernst Young? Where would you like to be? Yeah, that sounds good? Okay, perfect. So we'll go Greater New York City area. And then we're going to go into, well, here Ernst Young comes up right away. So this is a nice example of, you can click. I didn't really narrow too much. I just went from 3 million to 75,000, but I can show you on a company page what you can find out about that company. And it truly is extraordinary, the research that you can do on a company page that you really can't do elsewhere, because LinkedIn is going to show you things like what skills employees of Ernst Young typically have. Do you have any connections into Ernst Young? And they'll also show you what Ernst Young is posting on LinkedIn. What are they putting on their company page? So then when you sit down with the hiring manager, when you go on the interview, and you can say, oh, I saw that update you posted yesterday on LinkedIn about such and such. That will knock the socks off an interviewer, because nobody else is going on a LinkedIn company page and looking at what companies are talking about. It's a new level of research that a lot of students, I promise, are not doing. You're ahead of the game just by being on LinkedIn, and then knowing how to do this is even better. So imagine that that would be everything you see, because it is, I promise, it's just not working. All right, so there's their page. So here's some of what they share on LinkedIn. Here's where I can see that I have 15 first degree connections into Ernst Young. I can click on their profiles, I can message these folks, I can see my second degree connections. I have 1,847 second degree connections into Ernst Young. I can even comment on these posts. If you see that they just posted global revenues of this and 7.7% growth, you can post a congratulations. You never know who sees that, right? This is a way to interact with the company that, again, many students are not doing. So this is the company page. A lot of companies will put their jobs under the Careers tab, and it's under the Insights tab where I can see what skills employees of Ernst Young have on their profiles. And if those are skills I have, I want to make sure that they're on my profile as well. So that is all there under the company page. Here's, I don't even know what IFRS is. Is that some financial term? Probably. See, this, what does it mean? It's a financial service. Perfect. So yeah, USGAAP. I don't know anything about this stuff. I know a lot about communications and LinkedIn. So there's that. There's their company page. There's the skills. Here's some of the similar companies. But I'm going to go back and get us a little bit more narrow than 75,000. So here I am on my 3 million. I know that I really, really, really want to work in Chicago when I graduate, because it's like the best city out there. So here's Chicago. Now I'm going to go from 3 million down to 107. Wow, more companies in Chicago than New York. But what this is are companies that at least have an office in Chicago. So not necessarily headquartered in Chicago, but at least have an office there. And now I can go, all right, well, I know when I go to Chicago that I really want to work in financial services. And when I go and work for financial services in Chicago, I know I'm a really shy person who doesn't like to meet people, so I'm going to go for the companies that are between 11 and 50 employees. And now I've gone from 3 million down to 1,414. And I could go even further and say I want to find the companies that only have their jobs posted here on LinkedIn. And now I went from 3 million down to 47. So it is very manageable when you do your search correctly. Now this becomes even more manageable. If I know that I really want to work for Blackmore Partners, I can click where it's green here and it says 14 people in my network, and I can see that Jennifer, who's a student who I really helped with her LinkedIn profile, she's now a financial analyst in the development program for Blackmore Partners. So I might reach out to her if I'm interested in learning more about that company. She's already a first degree connection. I could click. Did you see the screen share?
Yeah, there's something going on upstairs. It's shaking. Yeah.
Good Lord. Man, this is a unique presentation. LinkedIn stops working, the screen's shaking, there's elephants upstairs. So when I click, he's the managing director, I can see that I have 3 first degree connections into Jerry O'Dwyer, the managing director of this company. So I can reach out to those connections either by email, or I can ask to get introduced to Gerald O'Dwyer. If I click Get Introduced, LinkedIn will set up a handshake for me. So I, as Kim Brown, want my connection Joseph to introduce me to Gerald O'Dwyer. And I might title it Introduction to Gerald O'Dwyer. And then I'll say, you know, hi Joseph, I saw that you're connected to Gerald O'Dwyer. I'm interested in learning more about the company. Would I typically do this with a managing director? No. He's a little too high up. But I might do this with a lower level employee who could be really valuable to me as I do my job search. That's how an introduction happens. And that's why the company search is really important, because you can see who you know. Another amazing website for seeing who you know that integrates with LinkedIn is simplyhired.com. So when I go to Simply Hired and I want to search for financial analyst positions in Boston, Massachusetts, I'm going to search. I'm going to get 9,520 financial analyst jobs, and then I'm going to say, hey, Simply Hired, connect with LinkedIn. I'm going to turn on my LinkedIn connections. I'm going to put in my password. This is a partnership between LinkedIn and Simply Hired. I put in my password, and then I'll be able to see who I know through my LinkedIn network at the companies that are hiring. So as I scroll down, if I want to work for Parexel International as a senior financial analyst, I have 8 LinkedIn ties to that company. My tie, Christine Taylor, who I know really well, who went to SU, she knows Tracy Burdick, who's a senior director in their HR department. Mark, who's a great alum who lives down in Florida, he knows Chad, their global marketing director. So I can send Mark an email and say, I saw you're connected to the global marketing director at Parexel. What do you know about the company? Like, do you know him pretty well? Do you think he'd be willing to go to bat for me or pass my resume along to the right person? Amazing research tool here as well. All right, so that's simplyhired.com. Now, back to LinkedIn. We did under the interest tab, we did companies. I'm going to go back to groups because that's the thing I like to end with. I'm going to go to influencers. So these are the big kahunas, the top dogs, if you will, on LinkedIn. These are the ones who have made it in their career. They're considered influencers. They're supposed to be writing blog posts about how they've, quote, made it. So they're going to write things that are in their area of expertise. They're going to write blog posts for LinkedIn. Fine, dandy, you can read those things, absolutely. What I want you to do is go to where it says all channels. All right? When I go to all channels, I find all of these different topics of interest on LinkedIn. And I can see what professionals who are interested in those topics are talking about. What are they sharing on LinkedIn? What are they commenting on? What's hot right now? What's new? You know, what's the buzz in my industry? So if I know that I want to go into accounting and I follow that channel, I will get a nice newspaper of sorts with all of the top articles being shared by people who are in that industry. So I can read these, and again, you're looking for things to talk about to sound intelligent on your interviews. You will sound awesome if you say you saw on LinkedIn that this was the most popular article in the accounting section, and isn't that neat that the right accounting system will save him? I don't know. You're not going to say that. But this is a really nice way to do some research on your industry. And if you follow, you know, you can choose like 5 of them, maybe even more to follow. And then when you log into your home page, you're going to see the news that's been customized for you based on those topics of interest you followed. So I'm going to see customized news based on social media, professional women, career advice, stuff like that. All right, so that's all under all channels. Good? Your question or you're scratching? My nose is scratching. Okay. Now I'm going to go into where it says groups. But the way I'm going to start is by having you search for Syracuse University across the top of your page. Just type in Syracuse University and then click on groups. When you do that, you will find a whopping 283 groups on LinkedIn that are somehow affiliated with the university. There are groups for everything and their mother, really. I mean, there are so many groups. Really, we have an alumni network, we have 9 schools in college, 10 schools and colleges. We really should probably have about 20 groups. No, we have 283. So if you can't find a group to join, we need to have a talk. Here, so you're definitely going to join the SU Alumni Network group, even though you haven't graduated, we do let students in. You're going to join Q's Connect, which is the group I run for the Career Services Office, and then you're going to join the one for the school or college that you're in. And then if you want to go through the 259 million other random groups, you definitely can. But when you join groups, you have a unique ability to reach out to alumni, and especially with Q's Connect, where the whole purpose is to fill this group with alumni who want to help you, you're going to be in great shape, okay? So you go over and you join Q's Connect. You literally just press join next to the group you want to be in. You go to Q's Connect. Magnolia is going to make me a beautiful picture because I haven't updated this yet. It looks so ugly right now, so don't pay attention to that. You're going to go into a group and you'll see that there's tons of discussions. The only people in this group are Syracuse University students and alumni. That's it. It's close to us. It's unique. You're not going to get other randoms in this group at all. We keep it closed. So there's going to be lots of career-related conversations. We're hiring. We're having a career conference. I'm looking for a job in this. We're looking for a job in that. Whatever it is, there's our discussion board. That's cool. You can post a discussion if you want to. If you want to put your stuff out there, great. If you've written a book, if you're going to do a dance somewhere, you want to promote that, you can put that in as a promotion. Fine. The way you post a discussion, you start your discussion, you add some details. You can make it general so it'll show up. You can make it a job. If you found out that there's a job that you think other students would be interested in, you can post that. Or you can post it as, again, a promotional item. But where this becomes really awesome is the fact that you can click on where it says members here. I believe you can click members there or here, but we'll click it here. And you can do a search in any group you join for titles that you want to have, for companies that you want to work for. You can do this group search. So if I know, is there another dream company that you guys have other than EY? Another place you'd like to work? Where? Disney, that's a good one. That's a fun one. All right, so I'm just going to type in the word Disney and see who I get. All right. Well, there's our aspiring wedding planner in Orlando, so she probably wants to work for Disney. Here is an executive assistant at Disney ABC Television Group. Here's Mitch, who's the publicity director for ABC Entertainment. Here's a producer for the Walt Disney Company. You can go through and see all these titles. You may not see full names. I see full names because these are first degree connections. You may just see things like, here I'll go. Yeah, you may just see Chad R. Now, Disney, it could just be that they have a love for Disney characters and that's in their profile. It might not necessarily be the company that they're working for, but you can do a search for, companies, for job titles, for whatever it is. Have fun with it. Put your major in there and see what people are doing who had your major. Now, say I want to talk to one of these alumni. I want to talk to, that's cool, the Chief Financial Officer at Mar Vista Entertainment in LA. And I can see that she's a second degree connection. She doesn't know me at all. So I'm definitely not going to connect with her because she doesn't know me yet. But I do have the ability, through any group I join, to send a message without ever paying for it at all. You will never pay for InMail again when you join a group and message this way. So this is how you can reach out to alumni. I implore all of you to go to Google and type in the best way to network with alumni on LinkedIn, because there is a blog post on that topic that is excellent. It's the first result. And it's written by Lindsay Pollock, who's excellent. And this actually gives you an example of what to say. So for all of you who run into that, okay, great, I can message them, but now what? What do I say? This is a nice example. Now, if you haven't graduated yet, you're certainly not going to say, I'm a fellow Syracuse University alum. You can say, I'm a graduate student at Syracuse University. I found your profile in Q's Connect. I really admire what you do. I'd love to talk with you more about your career. You know, would you mind if we set up a time to talk on the phone? If you feel more comfortable, if your English is better speaking than it is written, you can ask them to speak on the phone. That's fine. You can ask them to meet in person for coffee if they happen to live in the city that you're going home to over winter break. I would start, though, by asking if you might be able to send them a few questions via email. You know, would you mind telling me how you got your start? What this is not meant to be used for, this message route, and what I always suggest is in the subject line of the message, put something that says Syracuse, something, advice for a Syracuse student, Syracuse is awesome, yay, something that has the word Syracuse in it because that's a buzz for them. When they see that, they'll be likely to open it and ideally to respond to it. If you find that you're messaging in Q's Connect and people aren't writing back, please tell me. This is a group made up of alumni who said they'd help. So it could be on their end that they're just too busy. It could be on your end that your approach may be a little bit off-putting to them. So I would be happy if you're not getting responses to help you with why that is. Be very careful if you have a dream company and you find 15 alumni in Q's Connect or any other group that are at that dream company. Do not send the same message to all 15 of them. I know in career services when we get thank you notes from people that we've interviewed, we compare the thank you notes. And if they're exactly the same, lame. You know, they can take some time to make it different depending on who the person is. So make sure that if you're networking within the same company, try maybe to start with 1 or 2 alumni, send a different message, and then build out from there. Now, say I know John Alvarez very well. We've gone back and forth. He's been amazing to me. He's given me tons of advice. I've worked on the relationship a little bit. I've warmed him up, so to speak. Now, I can press connect. And this is my #1 cardinal rule of LinkedIn. When I invite somebody to connect on LinkedIn, I am going to delete this god-awful message that says, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. It is so stuffy, nobody talks like that, and everybody sends this generic connection request. Your phone does not allow you to edit, so don't use your phones to send connection requests and get on your computers. But you're going to say, how do you know John? Well, John and I are in the same group together. The group we share is Q's Connect. And then I'm going to delete awful message, and I'm going to say, hi John. Thanks so much for your time over the last few weeks. You've been incredibly helpful. I hope you'll consider adding me to your network. Short, sweet, he knows who you are now, he's expecting that connection request, and you're not sending the generic garbage that LinkedIn gives you as an option. Okay? So, to recap before I go into an advanced search and a little bit on Twitter. Under the Home tab, that's where we're going to see things like what our news is, what are the updates from our network. That's all going to be on the home page. You also have on the home page and under the Home tab, usually it's under the Home tab. I must be doing a little back-end work on LinkedIn today because it's not the way it usually is. You have the ability to see who has viewed your profile. So, you can tell when people are looking at your profile. That's cool when you've applied to an internship at Ernst Young and you see that the hiring manager from Ernst Young has looked at your profile, right? They're not going to look unless they're interested. It's creepy when you are looking at the same person 6 times a week over and over and over again. They can tell that you're being a creep. So, here's what I say. Remember that you're visible. You can choose to go anonymous. It's in your settings. So you go into privacy and settings. You review these. You select what others see when you view their profile. If I were to click on my home page and say, show me who's viewed, LinkedIn would tell me, well, you need to make yourself visible and then we'll show you. Like they dangle a carrot in front of you, but I can't actually see who's looked. Whatever. So I am totally anonymous, meaning when I creep on all of you, you won't be able to tell. Now, But that means that I don't know who's looking at my profile. So it's a tit for tat type thing. If you go anonymous, LinkedIn is not going to show you who's looking at your profile. But just so keep that in the back of your mind. I would say it's totally fine to show your name and headline. Just remember that your name and headline shows up. So try not to look at the same person every day of the week. There's my little thing about being creepy.
What happens if you want to be creepy 6 days of the week, or 3 days of the week, but you look at them 3 times? Can you reset it between looks?
No, yeah, it's smarter.
So, in other words, if you go anonymous, and then
Yeah,
you
they
can
won't
have
show
3
you from
times,
behind.
They will not? Okay.
No. As far as what I've been taught about LinkedIn, it won't go retroactive. Once you choose to go anonymous, it's not going to show you the past. And it's not going to start showing you people moving forward until you go public again. And finally, I'm going to wrap on LinkedIn with the advanced search. So when I click on the button that says advanced, this is now going to allow me to search all of LinkedIn. So I'm not just searching through the Alumni Tool. I'm not just searching through the groups that are Syracuse University related. I am literally going to search all of LinkedIn. And so I'm going to click on advanced. It took me there and then it didn't show up. This is it. This gray line here is where the advanced search is. There it is. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to say I want to find every single Syracuse University graduate who lives within 50 miles of New York City, went to Syracuse University, and works for, how about another company?
Chase Mark.
What is it?
Chase.
Chase?
Yeah.
Oh, JPMC?
I have no idea what it's about.
I think they're listed under, I'm not sure how they list. I'll try JPMC, but it might not be the way they, no, it's not the way they
I
list.
think they just says GP.
Like this? Probably. Let's try this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now I have found 120 Syracuse University alumni within 50 miles of New York City who are at JP Morgan Chase. And as I scroll through to the ones I'm not directly connected with, it'll show me if I have any groups with them, if I share any connections to them. You know, it'll give me a little something something so I know how I might know these people. It's just a nice way to do the search. It's not the best way of connecting. It's not the best way of messaging. But again, it's a cool research tool to know. I mean, if you go into an interview and say to the hiring manager, I saw we actually have 45 other alumni at this company. That's amazing. He'll be like, wow, how'd you know that? You'd be like, oh, because I use my LinkedIn Advanced Search. And you'll be awesome, right? So think about that as you're doing your research for your interviews, for your internships, for whatever it might be. That LinkedIn is a wildly successful tool, important tool, something that you definitely want to add to your repertoire. And hopefully those of you who haven't fallen asleep and who don't have LinkedIn profiles will have LinkedIn profiles soon. Good? Now Twitter, should we talk a little bit about Twitter? Any questions on LinkedIn before I go to that? Go ahead. If you don't use Twitter and you're like, hey, no, you're fine to leave. I won't be offended. Go ahead.
So can we like join any group that we want, or is there like an invitation?
You can join up to 50 groups. So you can choose 50. But some groups are closed groups. So if you try and join the Banking Executives of America group and the manager says he's not a banking executive, he can choose not to let you in. Some groups are open and everybody will get in. Some groups are closed and the manager will decide whether you can get in. So, but you can choose up to 50 and then join those ones.
And you can create groups, right?
What's that?
You can create groups.
You can. You can add to the 283 Syracuse University affiliated groups. Yeah, you can create your own group if you wanted to, if you had enough of a following or people to invite into your group. Christina.
That's actually basically what I was going to ask. Does anyone have to approve a Syracuse affiliated group that you make? Okay.
Nope, not at all. So there's nothing in place right now that has us approving groups, so everybody can. Go ahead.
Do you think it's necessary to upgrade to the premium?
No, premium, no. Everything I just showed you, basic profile. Absolutely not necessary. What you might find, premium allows you to send a few free in-mails. You don't care about that because now you know how to message people through groups. You don't need free in-mails. Premium might allow you to see more search results, but you get 100 search results with basic, so why upgrade? LinkedIn might not like me to say don't upgrade because that's how they make money, but I don't really think you need to, not at this stage in the game anyway. Anything else? All right. Let me pop over to Twitter for a little bit. The reason why I like Twitter, one of the biggest things I hear is, well, what am I going to tweet about? I'm on Twitter, but I'm just a voyeur. I just watch people. I don't actually tweet myself. I don't have that problem. I've sent about 30,000 tweets so far, and I joined Twitter in 2009. That's a little extensive. So you don't have to be like me, but you could also go, we'll let the non-tweeting folks head up. What I should say too is even if you're not logged in, if you don't have a sign-in to Twitter, you can still do a lot of search. I'm actually going to sign out of Twitter to show you what I can do without even being logged in. I don't even need an account to do this. People say, what do I tweet about? What should I talk about? And a lot of that content you can find on LinkedIn with what's relevant for your industry. You can share those articles. But if I go to twitter.com/search, I'm not logged in, right? Twitter, I'm just using it as a normal Joe Schmo. And then I click Advanced Search. I can find all of the tweets that are using the words engineering. I guess I could do it down in hashtag. Let me see if this works. I haven't tested this recently. Engineering and jobs. And I want to find them near New York City. So now I'm going to search. And it's going to show me, if I go to view all, yeah, this actually did, this didn't do, it did engineering or and. I don't want that, I want and. Point of my story is that you can do a search of tweets without ever logging into LinkedIn. So I can do this search, and the operators would probably be better for me. Twitter search, containing both Twitter and search. This is the default operator. All right, good. So I want engineering, and I want engineering jobs. And then I want near New York City. I'm going to search. And I want to see view. Yeah, so now I'm going to see jobs in mechanical engineering. This is showing me results. I can do all. And I will find all of the engineering jobs that have been posted on Twitter in New York City or somewhere related from the New York City area. It's a cool way to search. It's an additional way that you can find out about jobs. You could even narrow down to wanting to find all of the smiley face tweets from a certain, you can literally say, I want to find all of the smiling tweets from New York City and search. Not that this is going to help you in your job, but I just think it's kind of fun. So I can go here, and here's everybody who's smiling in New York City, right? All right, so kind of fun. Now I'll log into LinkedIn and Twitter and show you just a couple things about using it for the job. What I use to do Twitter is something called Hootsuite. And I'll show you how Hootsuite works. So here's Twitter, regular old Twitter, fine, dandy. Here's my home page. What I do Twitter from is something called Hootsuite.com. So there's Hootsuite, coming soon. This allows me to manage Twitter really nicely. So when I go into my Hootsuite, this is free. You just open it on your browser. is how I view Twitter, which is a little intense. So this is my Kim and Q's. This is what I usually tweet as. I also tweet as a few other accounts, so I have them on here as well. But what this allows me to do is see all of the tweets from the people I follow, all of the people who are talking to me on Twitter. Anytime somebody mentions Syracuse University, and I can keep going and have all of these different columns anytime somebody mentions career services, anytime somebody mentions the Working Orange handle, which I run, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I've set up a column, and it's so easy. Literally setting up a column is clicking Add Stream, and then you tell it what you want it to search for, and you'll have a column. So this allows me to see every time somebody tweets using the hashtag #HireOrange. The hashtag on Twitter is devoted to job opportunities that are from Syracuse University alumni for Syracuse University students and alumni. It's the only time the hashtag is used. So you can set up a search so that you'll see any job leads that come from our alumni. That's pretty neat. Okay, that's why I like Hootsuite, because I can set up these searches. So if I want to do a search for engineering jobs, I can set up a search for that and see a whole column of all of the tweets about engineering jobs. I can keep myself really well organized. Okay? That's Hootsuite. But I'll show you Twitter. A lot of companies are going to have, like Macy's has one that's specific. Google has Google Campus, or Google Jobs, I believe it's called. Yep, Google Jobs. So you can follow these different companies and find out what are the job opportunities right now at Google. This is specifically devoted to that. And you can do a search and find, like, I don't know if Ernst Young has one specifically for jobs, but I believe they do. It's probably just going to be under EY. I do Ernst Young, I go to people. Well, I don't want that. I know EY is on here. Well, I thought Ernst Young was on Twitter. There's EY Boston, EY Riyadh. Lead recruiter at Ernst Young. He might be a cool guy to follow. He's a recruiter for, yeah, he's got a lot of followers too. And he actually tweets. He last tweeted 23 hours ago. So type in the companies that you're interested in and see what's their presence on Twitter. You don't follow them, just consume. Again, it's so when you go to that interview, you can say, I saw you just posted on Twitter. That's so exciting that you released that news via Twitter. You can kind of have a good idea of what they're talking about. You can do searches through Twitter as well. And I would also suggest for those of you who aren't so sure what you want to do yet for a career, to follow this new, well, first of all, the Career Services Office is on Twitter. And we tweet about it, of course, now when I search. That's so bizarre. I was searching for Ernst Young. Well, there's their careers Twitter that actually comes up when you search for us. So here's EY_careers US, and those are the job opportunities at Ernst Young. This is a horrendous background. Nobody can read this, but whatever. You can highlight it and then you can read it. So we are on Twitter as Career Services, and we tweet about a ton of job opportunities, a lot of things that are related to professional development opportunities. There's Career Services. And through Career Services, we also have something, a Twitter handle called Working Orange. This Twitter handle changes. Every Tuesday and Thursday, there's somebody different who's doing the tweeting. They're all alumni, and they tweet what it's like to do their jobs. So yesterday, we had one who was an international student when he was here from Mumbai. He was able to, from Mumbai, Nishat. So he tweeted through his whole day and his experience being an international student and how he found his position here in the US after college. We have different alumni, one who actually got his job after tweeting to the CEO of JetBlue. He took a day on Working Orange and tweeted what it was like to work for JetBlue. So if you're like, I don't really know what I want to do, that account will give you a good inside look into the work days of so many different careers. And it's really a diverse group of alumni. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, that one is active. Go ahead.
Are we still keeping track of all of the
conversations somewhere?
We have most of them in a Storify. I haven't been very good about updating that recently, but if you go to storify.com/workingorange, and then you click on, and then here they are. Here are all of, I just want stories, so you click on stories, and here are the alumni who've done the different tweets for us. So like the one I mentioned from JetBlue, he's on there. You can do the one from Washington Post. He's a sports agent. He works New England Sports Network. This is a podiatrist. He showed pictures of feet the day he was on. That's kind of gross. Well, she works for a really, as you can tell, healthy eating company in New York City. That's her apple and orange. So you just go to storify.com/workingorange, click on stories, and you'll see some of the days that we've done in the past. So yeah, I would say for Twitter, are you really going to find a job through Twitter? Maybe. It's worked before where our alumni have tweeted at a certain company, they've engaged. If you want to work in social media, you should certainly be using those tools. But really, I would say you can just do it, follow, Make sure that when you follow, though, that you do have a face. A lot of eggheads follow me. I don't know who they are. Just give yourself a face. Give yourself a little bio. Don't worry if you're not tweeting 30,000 times. That's fine, more than fine. You can use it just to be a consumer, to gather information, to do some searches, to keep an eye on Higher Orange, and that's where I can see you being very effective. Anything else? Hopefully you learned a bunch. It's about 2:15, so go ahead.
I have a question. You
Sure.
told us not to add you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so a lot of times when I'm in the middle of my presentation, students will just do it before I get to the part about customizing the connection request. So after the presentation, I have like 19, I'd like to add you to my professional network. And then when I get to that part in the presentation about customizing the request, they're like, oh no, I just sent it. I just sent the basic one. I'm really sorry. So that's why, that's the only reason. But now, certainly, now that you know to customize, you'll be in good shape. Go ahead.
So, if you don't participate in social media that often, I know a lot of people that don't. Do you
Yeah.
view that as detrimental to like a career search?
It's detrimental to not be found on Google. Honestly, I can honestly say that. When we Google a candidate and there's nothing that comes up about them, it's like, what do they do? Like, where are they? It is not detrimental to just, I would say if you're gonna not really do social media, please do LinkedIn. Like, just pick one. Facebook, whatever, Twitter, Pinterest, blah. There's so much, like, nobody's gonna care if you're not on all of those platforms. But we do want to find good professional content about you. So whether you build a website, one of the Brand Yourself websites that are out there. Brand Yourself is a company that was started here at the university. If you go to brandyourself.com, they'll give you a Google grade. So when you type your name into Brand Yourself, and if you register for this with your syracuse.edu email address, go here, sign up with your email. We have free advanced accounts for every single Syracuse University student. That's something that the chancellor purchased. And this will tell you, what do you look like on Google? What's your Google grade, and how do you make it better? So you can build a website, basic, easy, like things that I can do. No HTML, none of that stuff. Build a website that's professional, positive content about you, so that when I Google you, I get something other than just nothing at all. Is that okay? But yeah, don't feel like you need to. What I always say is it's better to be good at one than awful at 5, So focus on one and focus on it well, and don't feel like you need to do every single platform out there, because if you don't feel comfortable on it, that's going to be evident to the people who are looking at those tools you're using. If you feel comfortable, it's not worth it. Feel uncomfortable, it's not worth it. To me, it's comfortable to tweet 30,000 times. I love Twitter. I really enjoy using it. I've made a ton of great connections through it. Other people are like, say, what? Like, who cares what I had for breakfast? Which drives me crazy, because that's not what Twitter is all about. But people who don't do it think that that's what Twitter is all about. Okay, does that answer it? All right, well, I'm highly accessible. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me in the Career Services office, and please don't hesitate to ask more questions. All right, thanks for coming. Happy weekend. Enjoy. Oh, shucks. Thanks.